toss-up. Now, PSG have qualified, so it doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is, can they get first place? Now, if they had beaten Istanbul Basaksehir by any amount, they would have gone top on virtual goal difference, because believe it or not, Leipzig finished -1 on goal difference on top of the table, which is what happens when you get thumped 5-0 away from home at Old Trafford, but still do well in all the other games, proving that game was somewhat of an anomaly, actually, in retrospect.
Indeed.
Because they still had 4 wins. Now, obviously, right now, PSG and Istanbul Basaksehir are down as a draw, a 0-0. This game was abandoned after many minutes due to an astonishing incident involving their 4th official. Now, this game was already becoming very heated. PSG were doing what they do best, which is being cancerous little fuck nuggets and winding up the Turks. And then, of course, during a incident, it was after a PSG player had gone right through one of the Istanbul Basaksehir players. Now, the referee had been very liberal at handing out yellow cards briefly before that to the Istanbul players for fouls, first committed fouls on PSG players. He seemed very keen to book everybody who even so much as breathed on someone. And all of a sudden, he forgets where his cards are as this PSG player goes right fucking through this Turkish player. Now, this obviously incensed the bench. And during this kerfuffle, a 4th official is alleged to have used racial slurs or racial language of some form or another in retrospect to one of the black players, of course, or black coaching staff, I believe, of Istanbul Basaksehir. This, of course, led to every member of the Istanbul team essentially walking off the field and striking, and rightfully so, frankly. If we're going to praise England for walking off the field, during games where their players have been racially abused, and we should absolutely do the same for Istanbul here. I don't know the full facts as of yet, because we are recording this pretty much right after the games, and that there is pretty much the admittance of racism from this 4th official. Jeremy Miller's probably frantically looking at espn.co.uk as we speak. But ultimately, the big problem here is the fact that the game, they refused to continue, even though that UEFA agreed to remove the 4th official and have him substituted for somebody else. Paris Saint-Germain then, of course, were like, yep, sure, no problem, we can carry on. Istanbul Basaksehir at the time refused to carry on. They were given till about 10 p.m. Deadline, French time, which is about 11 p.m. over here, I believe. Actually, no, it isn't. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. Either way, they were given till about 9 or 10 p.m., whatever it was. They were given a deadline. They didn't answer to that. Game was essentially abandoned, but it will be replayed tomorrow, of course, lining up with the other fixtures. And that's probably the big advantage you've got of this being on a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday. Otherwise, we could have had an even more clusterfucky situation. So PSG will still get a crack at finishing top of this table. But all things aside, let's not forget that ultimately it does come down to the fact that PSG and Leipzig have qualified. That is guaranteed. The only thing this game will help represent is whether PSG finish in first or Leipzig finish in first place. I'll just keep talking because apparently Miller's busy.
The 4th official, Sebastian Coletsu of Romania, was shown with TV footage showing him saying in Romanian, the Negro over there, go and check who he is. The Negro over there is not possible to act like that. After the assistant coach for Istanbul Basaksehir, Pierre Webo, Pierre Webo was sent off due to a incident, and that was the word.
I believe he was sent off for dissent. He was objecting to this situation. And of course, the 4th official made this blow up even further. And that caused the bench to completely lose their mind, as it would do, really, because, is it actually confirmed Negro, or was it a case of they'd used the N word and they've just.
Negro.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, you can't. What the fuck are you doing?
Right.
Because all of a sudden, you're not referencing him as a player. That Negro. What the fuck does that mean? You can't use that. And the thing is, right, this is actually, for me, more problematic and distasteful than a player doing it or a manager doing it. Because ultimately, there's no excuse anyway. But if you're a player or a manager, you could at least understand that in the heat of the moment, you could completely lose your mind and say something stupid. It doesn't excuse it, obviously. But it would obviously give some kind of context. As an official, Your job is to show complete impartiality and professionalism at all times. And you're at no point does the fourth official, especially the fourth official, you can understand a referee in alliance with to a certain extent getting a bit of grief. The fourth official very rarely gets too much aggro other than the odd yelling in the ear from a manager. And they're used to that. That's what they're fucking paid to do. That's why they do these games. This is the Champions League. This is the height of knockout football, and you're referring to players as Negroes. It's very simple here. UEFA need to fire him. They need to ship him out. They need to make sure that he is removed from all domesticated football as well. He should not be allowed to work in football again. It's as simple as that. It should not be that difficult. And ultimately, it's not like he's in a job where there aren't a plethora of people who would have killed for that opportunity. I know a lot of people actually have taken their UEFA badges, people who have worked in refereeing departments, coaching badges, things of that nature. One of my friends, actually, Michael, referees for the FA over here, and he referees lower league games quite a lot. And he gets levied with an astonishing amount of abuse, things that you wouldn't want anyone ever to hear. And he's a father of two as well. And at no point would he ever even consider using this kind of language. And also, when you think about this cretin and what he's done, I sit there and think, my friend Michael deserves an opportunity to do something like that far more than this fucking dickhead does. And that's the case with a lot of referees all around the world. There are a lot of people who work very hard for little to no money. Actually, a lot of officials aren't paid a lot, if anything at all, other than maybe compensated their travel. This guy's probably paid a decent wage, and he has the opportunity to referee at the highest level of the game, even if it is as a fourth official. You blew it. You blew a great opportunity, and frankly, you made a complete joke of yourself. Istanbul Basaksehir have every right to leave the field of play. I do think that it should have come back out once they had agreed to remove the fourth official. But at the same time, I understand why in the heat of the moment, it's going to take more than half an hour to calm down when somebody throws racial abuse at you. I would know. Trust me. I don't after half an hour go, I'm centered now. I have found my zen. Shall we continue? And also, you've then got to go and play football against arguably two of the biggest fucking bellends in world football in Neymar and, of course, the gigantic spudhead that is Mbappe, who, by the way, was actually on fire right before this. And so, you know what? Let's just call it how it is. Guy's a dickhead. Get rid of him and just crack on with it and try and fucking make the best of a bad situation. And hopefully the game will be played tomorrow. That will be dealt with properly, and ultimately my biggest issue here is it's another black mark on a very shady company that is UEFA, that have not carried themselves well in history as it is. Remember when Platini was in charge of them as director of football? It was just a fucking joke. There's been a lot of casual racism in football. It always has been. It's still a massive problem. We saw what happened with Millwall on the weekend as well. You can check out our YouTube channel. We've got a video available on that too. I would like to, in this context and in this moment, actually like to give a shout out to the Millwall fans from tonight's fixture, because they observed the knee impeccably silent. There was no jeering whatsoever. Big shout out, by the way, to Britain First. I was taking a piss out of them. Britain First. So yeah, the day after that Millwall game, they opted to record a video outside Millwall's gates congratulating the fans that did boo. So little shout out to Britain First. You fucking cunts. That's all I've got to say about that, because you can do you know what? No, people saying, oh no, you shouldn't meet hate with hate. Bullshit.
Bullshit.
Fight fire with fire, baby. I think you're all a bunch of fucking knuckle-dragging, Neanderthal, white supremacist, neo-Nazi, fucking Hitler-sucking cock monkeys. That's what I think. And I've got plenty more in the locker, Fuck yous. Britain first. Fuck off. Humanity first, you fucking retards. People like you fucking piss me off with your...
Britain first. Britain first.
Britain first, Millwall, fucking West Ham, come around my area, I'll fucking knock you out, you cunts. Fucking Istanbul Basaksehir here. They shouldn't even be allowed to play in Europe. It should only be English teams. It should be Millwall versus Paris Saint-Germain. It's Paris Saint-Germain, not Germain. Fuck off. Thierry Henry, more like Terry Henry. Spell it right, you fucking French cunt. Bellends, honestly. And that, ladies and gentlemen, pretty much wraps up the Champions League. Jeremy Miller, anything to add before we wrap it
up? If this guy doesn't get reprimanded and is in any other UEFA game anytime soon, UEFA should be fucking ashamed.
Just lock him in a room with Demba Ba and his massive penis for 20 minutes, and I assure you he'll never want to officiate again.
There you go.
Simple as that, ladies and gentlemen.
Tomorrow should be fun.
It should be, yes. Good set of fixtures tomorrow, and we're certainly looking forward to covering those as well. By the time you've watched these, chances are you'll either be watching the fixtures or, getting ready to watch them. So hopefully you can use this as an opportunity to be entertained. But yeah, that wraps it up. Make sure you follow at Sly Fox Sports Pod on Twitter. We also have an Instagram and a Facebook, which apparently has absolutely no activity because Jeremy Miller is lazy and useless with technology. But you can check those out as well. I'm sure they're available somewhere for whatever reason. But mostly the Twitter account is where you want to contact us if you want to have a chat, if you want to drop in some opinions. But as far as this video goes, little button down here somewhere, somewhere over here. Yeah, tap for. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. We haven't got many subscribers right now, and my wish at this point is to try and will us forward and get a few more subscribers and a few more people checking in. If you have watched this video,
what? Oh, right.
If you have watched this video and you're not a Millwall fan, please let us know what you think. And if you are a Millwall fan, go fuck yourself. No, if you're a good Millwall fan, of course, don't go fuck yourself. But if you're one of them bad fans, then just
one of them bad fans.
One of them bad fans, man. Get rid of them fucking cretins. But ultimately, let us know what you think. Like, subscribe, and of course, if you click on the bell.
Ding!
Yeah, which ultimately, as a bell end, it should really have just a picture of Neymar's head there instead. But if you click on that, you'll get notifications for all of our videos going forward. I have been Aaron Nix. He's been Jeremy Sly Fox Miller, and you've been watching Sly Fox Sports Broadcasting / a podcast.